Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now last weekend I helped a friend of mine clean out an abandoned office. Now this is what he does for a living, and at the end of the day, despite my insistence that he didn't, he paid me half of his wages to say thank you, and I was allowed to take home a couple of things that were left behind. I don't know why this office was abandoned, apparently it happens quite a lot. Now among these items was this fax machine. I don't really know why I took this, I just thought it was cool. A couple of Dell small form factor PCs, as well as a huge HP workstation, but that's a story for another day. Inside one of these small form factor Dell machines was one of these GPUs, the Radeon R5 240. One of these machines was actually missing a GPU, but I managed to find one at a CEX near me because they are quite common, so now I've got two matching systems that I plan to sell at a later date. However, I couldn't do that without first testing this R5 240 to see what it's capable of. And now that I've got two, who knows, maybe I'll do another crappy Crossfire episode a little later down the line. But today it's all about the single performance. This is the R5 240 gaming test. Firing up GPU-Z, and the first sign that this probably wasn't going to be the best gaming experience was the fact that this had 1 gig of GDDR3 VRAM. It launched in 2013 and it was never intended for what we're about to put it through, but nonetheless I just could not resist, and I'm sure you guys would love to see how it does as well. So with that, let's cut the chit chat, jump straight into the gaming results and see just how well this card does when put up against a few modern titles. Good luck, little card. Now these cards are actually quite common. You can find them all over eBay really for not much money. First up, we tested Resident Evil 7. I had no idea what to expect going into this, and surprisingly, or not surprisingly at all, we had to turn things down to 720p and run the game at the low settings. I say I had no idea what to expect, but just looking at the card gave me an idea that we weren't going to be maxing things out at full HD resolution. CSGO, however, will actually run at 60 FPS at 1080p with everything set to low. I've been told by CSGO players that they usually prefer the lower settings anyway to maximise the frame rates, and some even prefer the lower resolutions as well. 1080p here though will give you a not flawless but acceptable 60 FPS experience because there are a few stutters and frame drops here and there. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds was a bit of a disaster, if I'm honest. I tried to target 30 FPS, and to do this I had to lower all the settings to very low, as well as reduce the resolution scale, or the render scale, sorry, to its minimum of about 70%. This then got us 29 FPS, so not quite 30, but there really wasn't much stutter when we had done this. The game was fairly smooth, despite running in the mid-20s. There weren't any significant drops. It wasn't 29 FPS 1 minute and then 10 FPS the next. Everything stayed fairly smooth throughout our game here. Fortnite had a tendency to stick closer to 60, 52 was the average. There were a couple of drops here and there, but we were running at 480p as well, which does seriously affect the in-game detail. I'm not sure that many of you would find this an acceptable resolution to play Fortnite with. This is Chapter 2 or Series 2, whatever it's called. I don't know if Season 2, I really don't know what it's called, is more demanding than the first chapter or whatever. But 52 FPS was the average here. I'm not a fan of Fortnite, in case you couldn't tell. You'll also need to lower the Dirt Rally 2 in-game settings to low, as well as the resolution to 720p, in order to experience a plus 30 FPS average. 40 was in fact the average here as we played through this time trial level, and surprisingly I didn't crash. I'm prone to ram the cars into the muddy banks or drive them off cliffs in this game. Today seemed to be a good day for me. The performance wasn't too bad either, and as you can see by the card temperature, which I've left up on screen, it wasn't getting too hot or loud despite its little tiny single fan. I'm actually surprised that it's quite a quiet card all in all, even under intense stress. Though what I'm more surprised about is the fact that we were able to run Battlefield 5. This is more CPU intensive, so I'm sure the Ryzen 5 3600 helped where it could here. We did have to run the game at 50% resolution scale. Yeah, it doesn't look the best, but it is playable with at least 40 FPS on average. I played the tank level because it tends to be one of the most demanding levels in the game. Finally, who'd have thought it, Kingdom Come Deliverance was running just fine as well. The game felt very nice, very smooth. Please do not watch this video in full screen. Perhaps that should have been a warning at the start. If you do so, you'll find that you'll probably get an instant headache from the 7 pixels that are taking up your screen. 480p was the resolution we were running Kingdom Come Deliverance in order to achieve this frame rate, and boy does it look terrible. With all that said and done, well, I hope you've enjoyed the video of the R5 240, a card that won't in any way, shape or form handle full HD 1080p gaming, but at lower resolutions, well, it may still be okay, depending on the title that you want to play. I guess for a graphics card found inside an old Dell machine inside an abandoned office, I can't really complain too much though. As always, if you enjoyed this, leave a like on it down below. Leave a dislike if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And hopefully I'll see all of you in the next one.